Hello and welcome back to the Pitwall Podcast, where today we are breaking down the Belgian Grand Prix. And I'm getting used to introing these podcasts. I just got to say, 4 in a row. What a streak. I mean, we didn't do Austria, but technically I would have been able to start it. So I'll take it. How's it feel witnessing the downfall that I prayed for?
I mean, it's not necessarily a downfall yet.
It's not going great.
Yeah,
it's not going great for Red Bull.
I mean, it could be worse. We could have been Mercedes the past 3 years. But
It's true, but I'm Mercedes now.
That's a downfall.
But we're coming back up, so you got to go down now. See how we're up, you're down. It's great. This is what I've been waiting for.
Okay.
So anyway, before we get started, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow at the Pitwall Pod. And let's talk about qualifying real fast because it was a pretty interesting qualifying. Max went into this race weekend with a 10-place grid penalty, so no matter what he did, he was going to start in at best 11th. Here we go. All right, so in Q1, it was a pretty wet qualifying the whole time. So Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, Yuki Tsunoda, K-Mag, and Nico Hülkenberg were the bottom 5. Haas not showing great speed here. Yuki a little bit of surprise, and somehow Zhou and Logan were still in the bottom despite the rain being the great equalizer. Lance Stroll, P15, Bottas 14, Danny Rick 13, Pierre Gasly 12, and Alex Albon in 11, barely missing out behind Esteban Ocon in 10th, Fernando Alonso in a pretty solid P9 considering Aston Martin's pace, Carlos Sainz in 8th, George Russell 7th, Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris 6-5 behind Lewis Hamilton, which is pretty surprising. The biggest shock of the qualifying was both Checo getting P3 and Charles Leclerc bringing a lap out of nowhere in P2, and then Max just absolutely destroyed everybody in P1, but took a 10-place grid penalty, which would put Charles Leclerc to start the race on pole. So solid race, like solid qualifying. I mean, Charles Leclerc really surprised me. I was not expecting him to just pull a lap out of the bag like that.
I agree.
So it's Charles Leclerc remembered who he was all of a sudden and just gave us a great thing. So the starting grid was pretty interesting in this race, like I said, since Leclerc was on pole and Checo was P2, like this is looking like a great opportunity for Checo. I guess it didn't matter because he ended up keeping his seat, as we found out. But yeah, I mean, when I just want to talk about the race start really fast, and then we'll get into some teams. Dude, Checo squeezed the crap out of Lewis at the beginning, and I just started sweating profuse bullets. And but yeah, but Lewis ended up taking the lead 3 laps into the race, and it was awesome. It was a great Mercedes race, sort of. All right, so who do you want to start off with? You want to start off with some kind of back marker teams?
Yeah. Funny enough, Magnussen did better than Hülkenberg for once this week. Not like he did it great, but he finished P14.
Yeah, Hülkenberg is P18, last of the finishers. Yeah. Because Zhou Guanyu did not finish, even though he almost kept going and then didn't. It was a weird situation.
Dina had an electronics issue in the car, and they originally were like, he's going slow on the track, and they were like, oh, is he gonna cause a safety car? And then like, all right, keep going. And they're like, all right, never mind, just retire.
And just so you know, when Mercedes is in the lead and I see something like this happen, I just have like the war flashback. Like it's bad. I'm like, no, not now. They don't need to pit yet. The hard tire's not ready. Like I'm like losing it.
Yeah.
So well, actually they were on mediums. But anyway, they're on mediums. And so yeah, I freaked out, but Bottas actually was having a fantastic race and looked to be maybe in the points. And then they called him into pit with 8 laps to go because they thought he needed a second set of tires, when clearly the right decision would have been just try and make it to the end and see if you stay in the points, because pitting him put him in P15, which is where he finished. Well, actually he finished in P16, but so not great from him. And speaking of P16, that's where Yuki ended up finishing.
Yeah.
Not great from Yuki Tsunoda. We all have thoughts about why he doesn't get a Red Bull seat at any point. I genuinely think it's because of all the Honda contract stuff.
Yeah, that could be it.
But because, I mean, think about it. He drives a Honda to the track every single race. And if he moved with the Red Bull, he'd have to drive a Ford. I don't know. I just feel like there's something there.
That's true.
So anyway, not great. How did Danny Rick do?
He was able to reel in a point after, the disqualification. So solid race. I mean,
he flew on a helicopter with Max right after.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh.
speculation.
And then he's still driving.
And then he's a V-carb.
But it was 1 year at V-carb now.
Yeah.
Or, well, AlphaTauri, Cash App, whatever the crap it's called.
Dude, I can already see the Drive to Survive episode around Checo.
Dude,
you already know there's going to be one.
Dude, they need like 38 episodes for this season. We need like 4 episodes.
We just need one for like each driver and then like one for each team.
Yeah. So 30 episodes.
Exactly.
Be like, all right, so here's what you didn't see about. So that's the thing is I was thinking like they're going to have to cut some stuff. I bet you Logan Sargent doesn't even get anything in this season. I bet he just like.
It's going to be on it's going to be on Carlos Sainz episode where he talks about Williams, then it just cuts to Sargent like, huh?
I'm driving an Indy next year. Yeah. So anyway, V-carb confuses me. They're like good sometimes, bad some. Haas bad, but again. So
yeah.
But someone that actually wasn't too terrible this weekend was Alpine.
Yeah, that's true. Ocon was in the top 10, finished P9, solid work. And dude, the freaking delivery. And the suits, dude, were sick.
And Crofty said during the race, he was like, I hope this livery is only this race. What? What's wrong with you? That was an awesome livery. It's better than the regular.
Cool. Yeah, it's better than the regular.
I think he doesn't like just a straight ad on a.
That's fair.
But like, come on.
I mean, actually, I don't know. I mean, an entire Formula One car is an ad.
I know, but he means like an ad. Like the car is. It's you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's like a one. Yeah. It's like when Star Wars Episode 3 came out and Red Bull did. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yeah,
dude. That was a fire car. I think they had a bad weekend that weekend. Special liveries aren't. Yeah. Typically a bad luck, but Gasly finished at P13. He seemed pretty mad in qualifying. Ocon beating him is not great for him either.
Yeah.
Also, forgot to mention Alpine team principal leaving again. So, dude, Alpine is a complete waste of a Formula One team. Like, okay, they get a few points here and there, but then they come back. They're like, there's always drama.
Yeah.
The drivers don't like each other.
If you had to choose between Alpine and Haas,
what? Which one's the bigger waste of space?
Yeah.
Alpine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at this point.
Okay.
They're dumping their company is dumping them. They are the Renault F1 team and they're dumping their engine. That's how bad things have gotten.
Yeah.
That they're going to take on the Mercedes engine. So, I don't know, dude. I mean, Haas, I would have said Haas maybe, and I'm always saying that Gene needs to sell the team, but at this point both teams you're telling me Andretti doesn't deserve a team more than Alpine does right now? Heck no. Heck no. Now, they have a bunch of junior driver programs and stuff, so there's that. But, dude, I wish Andretti would just buy Alpine.
Yeah.
And, like, the only good thing they've done is this ad. Other than that, they've just been so bad. Not as bad as Sauber, but at least Sauber has, like, hope in the future. I don't know, though, dude. Audi fired all their people, too. They fired Andreas Seidel, who left McLaren as team principal to go lead the Audi project, and then before it even got to the finish line, he got fired. So,
wow, maybe things aren't going well for Audi.
Yeah, dude, who knows? There's like 5 F1 teams. Let's be real.
Yeah,
no, there's like 4 F1 teams. That's pretty much it. So, and VCarb pops in there every now and then.
Yeah.
So. And I guess, Aston Martin pops in. So there's 5, but the 5th one depends on the weekend. Okay. So let's talk about Aston Martin. So Fernando Alonso got P8. Yeah. Remember when he was finishing on the podium? That feels like... so everybody was like, oh, he finally made a right career choice, but I think overall getting like 3 podiums is not worth the pain that he's going through right now. So who knows how long he just signed an extension, but who knows how long he actually stays. So, I mean, he'll stay for another year at least, but I think he's going to try and make it to the new regs, but he just has birthday and I guess he got P8 for it. So,
Stroll was P11. So, I mean,
he crashed in qualifying.
Yeah.
Saturday. It's been a minute. Welcome back, Lance Stroll. Checo's been taking your limelight. Dude, this is going to be a tight race for Menace of the Year, I just got to say. Between Checo, See, Checo's not like a menace. In fact, most
No, I
most
think menace
F1
of the
fans
year
are,
should be Magnussen.
yeah, I think so. That's what I was gonna say. But most people that aren't Red Bull fans are happy with what Checo is doing right now. But Checo has a huge fan base, huge.
Mm-hmm.
So especially in like America and South America.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see, McLaren. Oh, let's talk about Williams. We skipped Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Williams got P12, Albon. Maximum result probably, if we're being real. They're not the straight line demons they used to be. Also, forgot to mention, Lance Stroll in the middle of the race complained about how bad their straight line speed is, but then clocked the fastest speed in the race, like by a lot, by like 10 kph or something. Lance, what is wrong with you? Anyway, that's all. Alex Albon P12.
Logan finished P17. So
Woo! Yeah. What if he's gonna lose his seat?
he's just warming that seat up for Sainz.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Dude, the upgrade is massive.
Oh yeah.
Massive.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like Logan is just not ready for this. So I feel like IndyCar is gonna be a good place for him. Also, speaking of IndyCar, Lewis threw some shade at IndyCar this weekend.
Oh, did he?
They were like, "Do you think you need AC in your car in F1 because they have the tubes?" And he was like, "No, we're F1 drivers. This is what we're supposed to do." And I was like, "Dang, throw some shade at those lazy Indy drivers." So anyway, let's talk about McLaren. So you want to talk about Piastri first?
Yeah. So across the line P3, finished P2 after the disqualification. I thought this was like the best strategical race we've seen from McLaren.
Yeah.
Or at least for Piastri.
Yeah, I'll say Lando. I've just lost complete faith in Lando, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton in the last month has won more races than his career in a slower car.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. Lando just struck me the wrong way last week in Hungary when he goes, Lewis goes up to him and he goes like, "Man, y'all's car is like so impressive." Lewis loves McLaren. He says good stuff about McLaren all the time because it started his career. And Lando goes, "Well, I would have won like way more races 7 years ago if I had the fastest car." And Lewis just goes, "Dude, I was just complimenting you. Like, chill." And I don't know. He's just got some like prick energy about him right now. He hangs out with Max a lot. That's probably where he's getting it from. Even though I like Max's personality
Max
more
hasn't
right
been
now.
a prick this entire year.
He's only yelling at his team, which is always fine with me. Yeah. So, but I don't know, dude. Lando Norris started P4, finished P5.
Yeah.
So he got passed by his teammate. He got passed by Max. And then got lucky with the disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, he can't start a race to save his life every time. Basically, it came down to the start of the race is where Lando lost all his position. It's every time, dude. It's like, it's not even funny anymore. It's just a thing. Like, if he starts on pole, I'm like, he's not going to lead the first corner. No way. Unless it's like Steven Monza, that wouldn't work. I'm trying to think of a track where he could actually lead out of the first corner.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like he could even lose it in Monaco, and that's saying something. So,
that's fair.
So anyway, I've just lost complete faith in him. Like right now, I'm not saying he's not like Checo levels.
Oh no,
he's not Checo levels. I'm just saying like he's not stop this championship contender crap, because I think Oscar is starting his ascent.
Yeah.
Also, this is gonna add like a little bit of time, but just what were your thoughts about the whole McLaren disaster? Because you didn't get to say anything about it because you were out. About the whole like Oscar the swap. Yeah.
I don't know. I personally didn't really get it.
Yeah, you should have thought that Lando should have won.
I think so because, Lando was just in front.
They shouldn't have pitted Lando first.
Yeah, that's the thing. If they knew they were going to do this, they messed with Lando really bad. That just to me, if I was Lando, I'd be like, okay, this feels like it was on purpose. Like you're making me make a statement.
Yeah,
but
once again,
either that or they're just stupid, which could also be a major factor.
Once again, as I've said, I think Mercedes is the better team overall, even though they made a very large mistake this weekend, which we'll talk about in a second. Let's talk about Ferrari first. So Leclerc P3, so he ended up getting a podium out of the demise of George Russell.
Yeah, Sykes was P6.
I thought Leclerc had a great, almost perfect weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed. Also, he's just continuing to destroy Carlos Sainz. It's like every season, man. Leclerc and Lewis. It's like George Russell and Carlos Sainz starts a little bit. Everybody's like, oh, they're so washed. Oh my gosh. And then they just the last like 2/3 of the season just like beat them into submission.
Yeah.
So I thought Sainz had a pretty good race though.
Yeah. I mean, he
was in contention.
Passed Perez to finish, ahead. So, I mean,
there were points where he was
bad.
in contention. So, I think maybe it's interesting. I wonder if Piastri could have won the race, by the way. I meant to mention that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also we don't know with this whole weight thing. So let's talk about that. Well, Mercedes I'm probably going to hamper on for a while. So how about you talk about Red Bull first?
Yeah. So Max, unlike his teammate, gained positions this race. Went from P11 to P4. It was a good result. I mean, to keep some points up for the team, while Checo's, out there.
He also had a chance of winning.
Monkey.
Yeah. He also had a chance of winning.
Yeah.
So if with the right safety car.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if Joe had gotten that safety car, man, it could have been
Who
really
knows?
good.
Well, he made 3 places up at the beginning. I was like, here it goes.
Yeah.
Here it comes. And then he got stuck behind Lando for a lot lot of the time.
Yeah.
But he ended up passing him.
Checo dropped from P2 to P8, P7 after the disqualification. Well, I mean, just a disaster of performance. Like, it could have been worse, but for what?
How?
Yeah.
how without crashing? I don't think it could have been much worse.
Yeah. I mean, he at least got some points, but when Max starts P11 and finishes P4, and you start P2 and you finish P8,
he should have been P5.
yeah.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum. P5, I would have been like, that was still a bad race from Checo, but at least he would have finished right behind Max.
Especially, obviously it didn't matter. But this week he needed to show what he could do, in my opinion, and he didn't.
Well, like I said, he was so aggressive at the start.
Yeah. I thought this would be the nail in the coffin because,
yeah, me too.
Checo Perez, if that was let's say Max, didn't have this penalty and finished P1 and you had a front row lockout of Red Bulls.
Yeah.
And Max stays in P1 the entire race or, just wins and Checo finishes P8.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good.
Yeah.
But I think, it would have been a lot worse if that was the case.
That's a good point. That's a good point because
Red Bull can't, that's a clear definition of Red Bull can't rely on Checo to finish out of 1-2 if they lock it out in qualifying.
Yeah, dude, that's an excellent point. And they would have been outscored by multiple teams if it wasn't for because they scored 16 points. So they were outscored by Mercedes with 1 driver.
Yeah.
They were outscored by McLaren. Yeah, dude. That's bad. That's really bad. So Helmut Marko said after the race that Checo completely collapsed.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So I thought for sure. I was like, and the thing is, we already talked about this in a different video, but I forgot to mention, I thought they would at least take a couple days. It was it was a Monday after the race. They're like, we're keeping him. He's staying. What happened?
Yeah, I knew there was going to be a meeting Monday, but I was hoping.
It's a quick meeting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it wasn't even late in the day Monday. Well, I guess for them it could have been. I forgot about that. But.
Yeah, I get they don't want it hanging over the whole weekend, but you got to think there's a filming day coming up in Imola. You think they would have waited? So I don't know, dude.
Yeah, where Lawson will be driving.
Good for us non-Red Bull fans. That's all I got to say because it's just going to keep giving us trophies.
It's pain and agony for me.
Dude, it's like having a limb that you need to sever to not have your whole body get gangrene.
Yeah.
That's what it. So anyway, so this weekend was one of the most confusing, emotional weekends for me as a Mercedes fan in my entire watching existence. Because Lewis led the whole race, and I was just Kendra took videos of me, but I was just quiet the whole time because I was just nervous.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's leading the race. And then I started thinking that everybody ahead of Lewis was going to do a one stop and he was going to get completely screwed and be P4. Because Max was ahead of him, Piastri was ahead of him, and Russell was ahead of him. I was like, well, maybe he can pass him. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, he still would have got P2 out of that because I think he still would have been faster than Max and Piastri. It would have been tough though. Dude, so anyway, then George makes the right call and stays out, and this just blew open my Mercedes emotions because Lewis, they crossed the line 1-2. Like, this hasn't happened since 2022. I should have been elated. And I was already sad because Lewis didn't win.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I could just sense that there was something up, like there's something wrong. So
Yeah.
I wasn't excited like at all.
Yeah.
And that's like, I was like disappointed in myself because I was like, I need to like, we were finishing P8 and P9
Yep.
7 races ago. Like, I need to enjoy this. Like,
Yeah.
I was like giving myself a lecture. And then Lewis gets out of the car and he looks visibly upset. And he's like, and he goes, and later we find out this is the strategy that he wanted to do from the beginning. So and he feels like he got screwed by his team. I'm sure he's standing there thinking, man, I made the right decision to go to Ferrari because they'll actually listen to me.
Yeah.
Like, there's all this going on. And I'm like, I wanted Lewis to win the race in general. And George Russell gets out and he's all excited. And it's just like so much is going on.
I know. And then he posted with the trophy too.
Okay, so then we open our phones and he had already been disqualified because we're in America and we were watching later.
Yeah.
And so then I jump for joy because Lewis won, and then I get sad again because I'm like, crap, with the points. Like, Lewis isn't going to win the championship this year, so
Yeah.
Mercedes needs the points.
Yeah.
So I hope to God that is not Lewis's last win at Mercedes, because what a terrible,
way to do it.
stupid ending.
What a way to do
Thank
it.
God he won Silverstone. Like,
Oh,
can you
yeah.
imagine if this is his first win? And it's like, this is how he got it.
I'm sorry, but like if that was the last one, people are going to count Silverstone as his last Mercedes win.
Yeah. I mean, he barely,
sure.
I mean, he posted about it, but it was like, I'm sorry for George. Like, I don't know, man. And everybody's like, and then the crazy Team LH people are all like, see. So, like, they like George better. They gave the preferential stretch. You morons. Like, just, it was not intentional. So, let me explain what I can surmise why George Russell got disqualified.
Mm-hmm.
So, he got disqualified for being 1.5 kilograms underweight. So, that's about 2.5 pounds or 3 pounds, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So Lewis Hamilton said in an interview about 10 years ago that a kilogram lighter over a whole race distance is about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you extrapolate out, it's about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
All right. So by that math, Lewis would have had about 6 more chances to overtake George Russell just from that, because there's about
Yeah.
2 overtaking chances, and Lewis is making up a second per lap. Okay. So 3 laps,
Okay. Yeah.
6 times. Okay. Would he have gotten it done? Who's to say? I really can't tell, because George Russell was defending like a mastermind,
Yeah.
and the tire deg wasn't as bad. So at Spa, there's no in lap. So I don't actually know how they get in the pit. I think they go in the pit backwards. I think that's how they do it. I'm not 100% sure, because they cross the line and then.
And then
So-
they turn,
So a
go around.
traditional technique, if you've ever heard anybody say pick up rubber,
Yep.
is you drive on the dirty line on purpose in F1 to pick up weight to make sure your car is the maximum weight. And because George Russell one stopped, the tire degradation and the fuel was less than they expected, and then they improperly drained the car. Long story short, multiple things happened, and the car was light. Would he gotten disqualified anyway, even if he didn't do the 2-stop or did do a 2-stop?
Yeah.
I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. I think this is highlighting a big problem in F1, which is I think they should weigh the cars without the tires on them, probably,
Oh yeah.
because that's stupid. Like, the fact that you could be like, your car could be illegal and then you could just pick up some crap on the way in.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
So very disheartening. George Russell's, I mean, this is the 3rd DNF, or this is disqualification,
Yeah.
but he crashed. He had to DNF in Silverstone and now this. So anyway, Lewis deserved the win the most, probably, but I did not enjoy how this came out. So anyway, let's do winners and losers. I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I think winner is Lewis and Mercedes, and loser is George and Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
So Mercedes didn't even take a team celebration photo,
Yeah.
and Lewis had already left before they announced that he was the winner
Yeah.
for summer break. So I don't know where this leaves us, but I just got to say overall positive trajectory. And I just got to say, Mercedes won 3 out of the last 4
Yeah.
races. Mercedes is back. Like, period. It's happened. They're not the fastest team, but they are back from being
Yeah.
just complete and utter garbage. So fear us. We're back.
Winner's going to be Leclerc for a great weekend.
Yeah.
Loser's probably going to be Red Bull.
Yeah.
Just for the entirety of everything that has gone over this past 4 days.
So we're going to do our predictions later. So we're going to record later before Spa. We have a couple other videos coming out in the summer. But I just want to ask you, where do you think Max wins Zandvoort? Because Max hasn't won in 4 races, which is feels like an eternity.
Yeah,
we haven't heard. We're not going to have heard the Dutch Grand Prix for 2 whole months.
The thing is, I think he would have won this one if it wasn't for his penalty.
Well, yeah, but he had to take his penalty.
Well, yeah, but now he doesn't. It's Zandvoort. And
True, but he may still have to take another penalty.
Oh,
eventually,
really?
because he only took an ICE. So technically, and he's full on the rest of his components. So if anything else happens, he's got to take another penalty.
Yeah, but not in Zandvoort.
Unless he crashes.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But he won't. It's Max.
Yeah.
He doesn't crash. Not really. So, I mean, I can't even think of the last time Max.
Well, I mean, I think he's got as good a chance as any other race.
Okay, but it's high downforce. So he didn't win Monaco or Baku. Or Hungary.
Yeah.
So does he win? Is Red Bull going to be in? Do you think Red Bull has the fastest car at all anymore? Or do you think it's McLaren? The way I see it right now is Max Verstappen is the most at one with a car of anybody. McLaren has the best car, and Mercedes is functioning as the best team despite what just happened.
Yeah, I was going to say
and Ferrari's weird.
McLaren's got the best car, but Max is the better driver in his car. Like you were kind of saying, he's best at one with his. So I think he's the most comfortable, which is why he's won these races this year with McLaren doing well.
Well, Marinade, you don't have to answer right now. Well, it'll be a cliffhanger for a month, but where is Checo going to finish in Zandvoort? I want to know what your answer is. Don't answer right now. Tell me in your predictions. Where is Checo going to finish? Okay. So, that's been about it. I cannot believe that Mercedes is doing what they did.
Yeah.
We should have had a 1-2. Crazy. If George Russell just let Lewis by, he probably would have had it. Because of the fuel.
Oh, yeah.
Because he could have followed him with DRS, less fuel. Anyway, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought George Russell was going to finish second and just follow Lewis the rest of the way home. Anyway, gone are the days where he just gets let by. Anyway, all right, that's been it. Thanks for watching. At the Pitwall Pod, subscribe, all that good stuff. See some stuff over the summer. I really am working on a cool video. I worked on it some today. So, that's it. Bye.
See ya.